All right, we're rolling.
We're rolling?
We are rolling. Headphones on.
Let's see. You get those headphones on.
Your mic's on. Ready to rock.
Mic is on. Ready to roll.
We're hot.
Done. Smoke.
We're hot.
Ignited.
We ignited. We lit.
We're lit.
Now
We're on?
We're on.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about time travel this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And to begin, I always thought the most important thing, or at least the most easy to relate to, is Terminator. Now,
Yeah, it's a classic.
it's classic. Most people have seen it. If they haven't seen the first one, they've seen the second. And they usually follow all the rules except for Genesis.
Yeah.
Where for some reason, Arnold, that teaches young Sarah Connor how to fucking fight.
Yeah.
She bounces, like he also builds a time machine to send them forward in time. Remember that?
Yeah.
Let's not worry about that. Let's go back to the classic. Okay.
The original.
The first time Arnold put an exoskeleton into him and he got stabbed by those punks out the front of where did 80s punks hang out? Just like a skate park or something?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Just
I think it was a train station, wasn't it?
Oh,
It was
it's
a train station, but there was like wasn't there a
It's a
skate
train
park and
station,
shit?
he's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's a train station. Then they stab him in the chest
Yeah.
and he just breaks that guy's hand.
Yeah.
Doesn't he break the knife into it? Like,
Yeah, he breaks the knife and just busts on him. For Terminator time travel, it's one-way trip. Yeah, you get sent back in time, no clothes, no weapons. It's a one-way hit.
Mm-hmm. I
Now,
can't remember. Do they explain why? They explain why the clothes come off.
so only organic material can be sent back in time. That's why they can't send a Terminator just the skeleton. That's why
It's
that's why
protected
by the organic material.
Yeah,
on the
that's right.
outside.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which also sort of doesn't make sense why the T-1000 is able to be sent back in time in the second movie. But let's not worry about that. Let's not get, because the T-1000 is just basically
It's liquid metal.
it's like liquid metal.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
But you get so they're sending someone back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now here's the thing. John Connor is the leader of the resistance in the future. The whole reason that they send the T-800 back in time is because John Connor wins the war, and as a last-ditch effort, Skynet decides to send the T-800 back to kill John Connor's mum
before he's born.
Which is why the Terminator is going through the phone book. My God, imagine having to go through a fucking phone book to try and find someone to murder.
Yeah.
And that's why he's just popping Sarah Connor's.
Yeah.
But John Connor can't exist unless Kyle Reese gets sent back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You with me again?
Did Kyle Reese get sent back in time there?
Who impregnates Sarah Connor in the first Terminator?
It's Kyle
He
Reese.
didn't get sent back in time.
How did he get there?
Kyle
He did.
Reese.
Yeah, he
Kyle
did.
Reese, buddy.
Wasn't
Kyle
he part
Reese.
of the timeline?
What
No,
timeline?
He's from the
Looks-
future, dude.
Is he?
Yes.
I can't remember that.
He's trying to
part.
look for that weapon, trying to kill.
Relax.
Yeah.
Kyle Reese is a young soldier
That's right. And they do
in
send
John
him back.
Connor's
Yeah,
army,
yeah.
because Sarah Connor has left John voice recordings on tapes,
Yeah.
he knows that Kyle Reese is his father,
Yeah.
and is why he also sends Kyle Reese back in time.
Yeah.
So that means that the first Terminator movie is completely predestined.
Mm-hmm.
Skynet was always going to lose,
Yeah. It's about that.
right? The T-800 is going to be sent back in time. Kyle Reese has to be sent back in time, not just to keep Sarah Connor safe, but also to make sure that John Connor is born.
Yeah.
Okay? Good so far?
Yeah, makes sense.
Does it?
Sort of. Yeah.
We're sort of making sure now. So like
We understand the principles.
the idea is basically for Terminator's time travel is that it's cyclical. It's already happened.
Yeah.
So even Judgment Day, because we're going to disregard everything from 3 onwards, just put that in the bin where it belongs.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need it. Terminator 2, they send the liquid Terminator, is it the T-1000? Yeah, they send the T-1000 back in time and the T-800. The T-1000 is there to kill Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
No, he's there to kill John Connor when he's like 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Little did he know, if he just left him for a little while longer, he would have overdosed.
Yeah, that's true.
They send the T-1000 back in time to kill John Connor when he's a teenager.
Mhm.
John Connor sends a T-800 back in time to protect him.
Yeah.
And everything happens. Skynet still, like, everything plays out as it should. So Terminator 1 and 2 operate on a time travel principle where time is cyclical. Like, everything that will happen has happened.
Yeah, but then it's sort of like the chicken and egg sort of a thing. Like, what came first? That's the only part that doesn't make sense to me.
What part doesn't make sense? Which happened first?
Yeah.
So there always was a T-800 sent back in time, and there always was a Kyle Reese sent back in time from the beginning of whatever. So you could almost imagine.
But for a T-800 to be sent back in time, there had to be a John Connor.
Right.
Where did he come from?
Right. So again,
that's what I mean. Like,
there will so the way Terminator presents time travel is that it is always going to run this way. There was never a point where John Connor didn't exist. There was never a point where Kyle Reese didn't get sent back in time. There was never a point where the T-800 didn't get sent back in time.
Yeah.
It's almost like from, I don't know, is it like 1980s? Is it 1980? I want to say like 3.
Yeah.
From that moment, it is constantly repeating.
Yeah.
It will always happen that same way, the events, including Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Right up until the point where Skynet gets bursted.
Yeah.
Now, you could say that what happened was, well, you can't actually start with just John Connor defeating Skynet.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that Kyle Reese has to be sent back in time. So it kind of doesn't make
for John Connor to be
it kind of doesn't make sense in the idea that we've got a linear time frame and then Skynet sends someone back.
Yeah.
Unless, which they probably wouldn't have set it up like this, but we can sort of speculate.
Yeah.
That what happened was the resistance was losing, and in an effort to save themselves, they sent Kyle Reese as the initial person. So they sent Kyle Reese back in an attempt to do something, and he spawned John Connor, which began.
That would have changed the timeline, though.
That would have began this cycle, because now John Connor wins the war.
Yeah, but that's like alternate reality then, sort of a thing.
Well,
because then you split realities.
Well,
it's the only way to look at it.
You technically, I guess you could say anything you go back and change, it's not that you've split realities. This is just the new timeline. Because you haven't actually created a multiverse or anything like that.
No, you have.
No.
Because the other multiverse continues. The other timeline continues.
Okay. We're going to go into the next one. We're going to go into the next one because now you're talking about like Back to the Future's time travel.
Okay.
But for this, the only way that Terminator makes sense is something along the lines where Kyle Reese gets sent back first before a T-800 to ensure that John Connor gets born.
Yeah.
But the humans wouldn't have known that. They would have probably been losing, fired Kyle Reese back in an attempt to stop Skynet
and
originally.
it just so happened that...
And maybe the original version is that Kyle Reese gets sent back, finds Sarah, knocks her up.
Yeah.
He stops Skynet or prevents something important from happening.
Yeah.
Skynet then sends back the T-800 and we get the
counter
loop.
It, yeah.
And we get the loop.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we're showing the loop already having begun.
Yeah.
When Terminator 1 and 2 take place.
Yeah.
Cool?
That makes sense.
Sort of. Time travel gets really murky.
Yeah.
But like this is why it's so important that we establish a baseline version of time travel.
Yeah.
Where it is a fixed point. It is constantly recurring. There will always be a Kyle Reese. There will always be a T-800 fired back to the 80s.
Yeah.
And the events will take place as they take place.
Yeah.
Unless
they showed that in what was the last film called?
The one where they fired T-800s to different points in time and it makes the first two movies irrelevant.
No. Was it, no, not the one that John Connor becomes a fucking T-1000. Someone becomes a T-1000.
No, that's
Arnold.
Genesis.
Oh, that's Legion.
It's Genesis.
Huh? Genesis?
It's Genesis.
Because they show
with Emilia
scenes.
Clarke.
Oh, yeah.
It's where they redo the first movie.
Yeah, because they show like Arnold going back
Yeah,
to the train station and all that sort of shit.
Trash.
Yeah. But like they show that the loop just keeps happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the newest version, I can't remember what the newest Terminator is called.
I'm not sure.
I fucking can't
Wasn't it
remember.
Genesis the last one?
No, Genesis
No.
is the one before the newest one, because the newest one they completely
Dark
rewrite the
Fate.
timeline. Dark Fate,
Yeah,
Fate.
that's the one.
where they completely rewrite it, and
Yeah.
now instead of John Connor being the savior of humanity, it's some other chick.
Yeah.
Stupid shit.
Anyway, regardless, the whole point is this is our baseline for time travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of my favorite trilogies of all time is Back to the Future.
Mm.
Now, Back to the Future's time travel is a lot more murky. Okay, it's a lot more
That's because they fuck with it.
right.
This is always the
Right.
same every single time, whereas Back to the Future, it's
Changing. Stuff.
Okay, so what we're
Yeah.
watching in Back to the Future, and I'm just going off my theory here, but stick with me. You watched Back to the Future, John?
Yeah. All of them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you've watched it. I made you watch it.
Yeah.
Now, in Back to the Future, we witnessed the first version of the jump,
yeah.
which is when Marty loads up into the DeLorean, fires off to 1955 to
Mhm.
escape the terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
as you do.
Yeah.
Now, he flies back to 1955, doesn't end up sleeping with his mum because he knows that his mum has to meet his dad.
Yeah.
Everything goes through normally. He ends up getting the
Oh, no, he gets-
1.21 gigawatts of power by hooking up the lightning strike to channel into the car at the exact point in time to fire back to 1985.
Yeah.
He,
It was 88 miles per hour.
it's 88
Yeah,
miles
yeah,
per hour. That's it. It's 88 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the flux capacitor won't kick off.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he knows that Doc will die in the future, he also gives him a letter saying that he will be murdered on the night he does travel back to 1955.
So he makes a bulletproof vest.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well done. So now we've got the fact that we've followed Marty. Everything's all good.
Yeah.
He's fixed everything.
Yeah.
Doc then, from directly after that happens, the car comes back, everything's all good. He figures out where he went wrong. He loads up into the DeLorean. We don't see this on screen. We just see that because Marty went back and fixed things
Mm.
in his time. Remember, so his dad was like a meek pussy.
Yeah.
And like at the start of the movie, his dad is just a loser. Biff's still picking on him.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's his boss and shit.
Yeah.
And then he goes back and he makes his dad, or he sets up the events in a way where his dad can stand up for himself.
Yeah.
And his dad's just awesome.
Yeah. It's a gun.
He's a gun
Yeah.
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And Biff's like a loser.
Yeah.
Right. So now, with that initial jump, what Marty has done, and you got to keep in mind now, that's the first jump. So everything before that, we're imagining a straight line in time.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes back, messes with a point, and what he's done,
New time.
he's created a divergent point
Mm.
where now instead of going straight along, they're slightly off angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's not two timelines, is there?
No, it's not two timelines.
It's still one that just
It's still one.
slightly-
Due to the changes that he has now
Changed.
made,
Mm.
he's changed the trajectory of time in that 30-year span from when his dad punched Biff, essentially.
Yeah. Stood up to Biff.
So he's changed it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So we all good, yeah?
All
Yeah.
good.
If anything is unclear in my theory, please jump in on this and please add, because I've thought about this a lot. Yeah.
The first movie, he actually gets hit by the car, which triggers all the events as well.
Right?
So
Because
that-
he was there. So
Yeah.
again, so all the events that take place in the first movie, we're watching the first version of a jump.
As it
Marty
happens.
McFly is the first time traveler
Mm.
Yeah.
in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
He goes, he gets hit by the car by his mum. It turns out his mum's a bit of a how you going?
Mm.
She wants to see his. Oh, I've never seen someone write their name on their underwear, Calvin Klein. And she's grabbing his leg under the table and shit.
Yeah.
So everything from that point, everything he does.
Oh, that's right, because it was meant to be. It's meant to hit his dad.
That's right, because
Yeah.
Dad's a peeping Tom.
Yeah, that's right.
So there is a bunch of stuff that he alternates just by landing in 1955, really. Because he also breaks into the barn at the start of the movie, and that dude thinks that like a spaceman has broken into the barn. Like,
Oh, yeah, because he's waiting
that
already.
alone
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so
fucking-
he's
So it's already
completely
messed up.
he's done the full Homer stepping on the bug in
and
the
just
time.
fucks everything.
Probably with one of the best Treehouse of Horror
That was a
episodes
sick
for
episode,
Simpsons.
yeah.
Mm.
Really cracks the shits and goes back and just starts breaking everything.
It turns out pretty much normal.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Because they got like the tongue, the fucking frog tongues or some shit. Yeah.
It's close enough. I love the one where Flanders is gone.
Oh, dude, that's brilliant. With the TV screens and shit. Yeah, dude.
He's got the sausage in his pocket. So this will give me the power I need. Okay, so Back to the Future 1. Marty changes the past. It works out beneficially for him.
Yeah.
And basically everyone except for Biff. It works out well.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh. Now, from that point, Doc jumps in the time machine and Doc flies everywhere. Doc flies around. We're not sure exactly where he goes, but we do know that he goes forward in time to 2015, which was the future.
Back then, yeah.
With flying cars and Jaws 30. But he flies forward into the future, gets the upgrade for the DeLorean, all that good stuff, and realizes that Marty's life gets screwed up.
Yeah.
Remember? Because he's going to get into a car accident because he's drag racing because he's got the problem with people calling him chicken.
Yeah.
Cool. So they fly forward. They do what they do in the future. They try and sort stuff out. Biff from the future. Now, anything you do in the future when it comes to time travel is almost irrelevant in a way because...
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
For you.
For you, yeah.
Cool. Again, like we're leaning into how I think time travel actually would work if you could do it. So whatever you do in the future is almost irrelevant.
Yeah,
it makes no difference because it's not affecting your current timeline.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So they go, Biff realizes that there's a time traveling DeLorean. While Marty and Doc are dealing with, I can't remember, they're dealing with, Marty's missus ends up getting taken to her house because she passes out. And while they're dealing with her, Biff jumps in the DeLorean, flies back to 1955, gives himself the almanac, which gives him all the sports betting, and enables him to become a billionaire.
Yeah.
Now, really, based on what we know about this version of time travel, is the second Biff time travels, Marty and Doc should have been wiped from the existence.
Why?
Because he's gone back to the past and altered the past, which immediately should have ripple affected straight into the future. There shouldn't have been a time delay in what happened because the only time it actually kicks in what Biff did is when they jump back into the car, fire back to 1985.
True.
That
to
is
see what
true.
happened. Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah, that's a discrepancy.
So there's a discrepancy.
Yeah.
Now, the only way that could really make sense, and this is, again, me throwing this on, is that once you become a time traveler, you now hold the universe up around you. So
You work outside the...
You work outside
Yes.
time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now, because Doc and Marty and I can never remember his missus' name, Jennifer.
Jennifer, yeah.
Because Doc, Marty, and Jennifer are in 2015 when Biff fires back, they're essentially holding that timeline together until Biff comes back.
Yeah.
And then once they fire into the past, because they're removed from that timeline, everything would have caught up immediately.
Yeah.
And because they were out of the time stream, 1985 catches up as it should, and Biff is now in charge of everything. He's super loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, cool, yeah?
Makes sense.
Great. They, to fix it, need to fire back to 1955, and we see Marty doing his best to not interact with his previous self.
Yeah.
Because now we're on the second run of time travel for Marty.
Yeah.
And theoretically for whoever else is in this time zone.
Yeah.
So they're attempting to fix things without interfering with what would have happened to ensure that time stays stable.
Yeah.
And they don't further alter the time stream.
What's happened? Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. They don't want to fuck around with the time.
More than
With
they have.
the events.
Yeah, more than
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
And then they go back in the third movie to 1888.
Mm-hmm.
1885, whatever. But Doc ends up getting sent back in time at the end of number 2.
Yeah.
They end up taking the almanac, but if you didn't know what happened in Back to the Future, they fix everything. It's all good. Doc gets hit by a lightning storm, and because the time gauge was fucked up, he gets fired back to 1885. You get that awesome scene where that dude delivers the letter and he's like, it's been there for like 70 years.
Yeah.
Being told to deliver it to someone on this road at this day on this time.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And he finds out Doc's it back in time.
Yeah.
The third movie is irrelevant for my point, but we're all good so far. Yeah. We're all on the same page.
On the same page. Yeah, makes
Right.
sense.
My belief is that if someone did create a time travel machine,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now the time travel machine needs to be able to operate within space and time. The time travel, the DeLorean travels back in time, but it always stays in the fixed location. So wherever he drives, it lands in that exact point. So it does travel through space because obviously the Earth is traveling through space and time.
Yeah.
So the DeLorean knows where that point will be,
The coordinates,
relative
let's say.
on the Earth.
Yeah. And
So
lands
it's
there.
always appearing.
Yeah.
So you would need a time machine to do that, first
Yeah.
of all. Otherwise, you're just going to blink into the middle of nowhere, chances are.
Yeah.
Because if you're stuck on this place...
because like the Earth is traveling at fucking
yeah, it's traveling around. It's
20,
doing
30 kilometers per second
Right,
or some
it's
shit
doing
through
an orbit.
space. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
doing an orbit. So
Yeah.
if you
it's
miss
traveling
it,
through space as well.
yeah, you might teleport above the Earth like 20 Ks, or
Yeah.
you might be just in the middle of nowhere while
Exactly.
it's on the other side of the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
if
probably
you-
how real time travel would work, wouldn't
yeah,
it?
it'd be horrifying.
That would
Real
be
time
horrifying.
travel would be fucking shit.
Yeah.
The amount of math involved would be way worse than just actually getting the time travel machine
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah, that's wild.
Now, my belief is that if you did have a time travel machine, you built it, you found it, makes no difference. If you found it, there's actually more problems.
Mm-hmm.
We'll stick with you. We'll stick with you built it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you built it. There's the theory that if you build the time machine and you go back to fix things in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be very careful, because if you go back and fix something that would theoretically stop you from building the time machine,
Mm-hmm.
you would create a paradox. Right?
Yeah. Wait, so let me ask you this.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think in your version of time travel
Yeah.
that when you go back in time or forward or fuck around with time,
Mhm.
it creates an alternate version of that timeline, or it stays on the same timeline?
I think that if you went back and messed with time, you don't create an alternate reality. What you do is you now skew your own reality into a new series of events.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not creating alternate realities.
So
by traveling
everything
through
that's
time.
happened after that point gets wiped and
Right, and new events will play out accordingly.
Yeah.
Cool.
So everything that happened, but what about all the memories that people had and all that sort of? Because I believe that there's alternate timelines.
I think that there
Yeah.
are alternate realities,
Yeah.
but I don't think messing with your own timeline would create an alternate reality. You theoretically have made an alternate version of your own world, but you
Yeah.
haven't stepped into a new reality, and you haven't created a new reality. What
So you
you've
don't
done
think
is-
you sidestep? You just keep going on the same line.
Yeah. So, like, let's say you went back in time,
Yeah.
and stopped me from being born.
Yeah.
All the events that I played a part in will no longer happen. So, new series of events will take place in their
Place.
yeah.
But my memory of you.
Well, you are the time traveler, so you would remember everything. But everyone around you would not realize, because for all
And
intents
like-
and purposes, I did not exist.
So you're saying if I was to take a picture of you, go back in time, and stop you from being born, that picture would cease to exist.
Or disappear.
Or
No,
that
That's Back to the Future. Because
That's what I'm
that
using it to
picture,
do. Yeah.
because that picture has now traveled through time with you, that picture is a constant. So I will still be in that picture, but when you return to the timeline at the point where you disappeared originally,
you will no
I
longer
will
be
not
there.
exist. Because you stopped
So you
me
wouldn't
from-
be on that picture though.
No, the picture would still exist because it has traveled
Okay.
through time.
But you will not physically exist.
Right.
Yeah. That's wild.
Cool?
Yeah. That's your version. That's what you think. Yeah, sweet.
I reckon it even gets more insane. So I reckon it gets more crazy.
Yeah.
So you're a time traveler, or you are about to be. You've made the device, you fire back.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you went back and you stopped yourself from building that time machine, you would return to an Earth now where there would be two of you. So now we're in 2025. Was it February 12th?
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
As of this recording.
You fire back 5 years ago. You do something that will stop you from going on to build the time machine.
Mm-hmm.
That time machine will not get built ever. But you now, the second you have stepped into that time machine, you hit jump, you no longer are you. You have become what I would guess is a god. Because now you are a fourth dimensional being.
And there's two of you.
Well, there will be two of you. One of you has a time machine, one doesn't. You are now so far beyond everything else that we have. Like, we're three-dimensional creatures. We can only move forward in time.
I don't think that.
Just listen.
Yeah.
We can only move forward in time.
Yeah.
You now no longer are bound by the restrictions of time.
Yeah.
Which means you are now a fourth dimensional being. So whatever you fuck around with in the past will have no implication or determination or damage on you.
Yeah. It's just
because
like,
you are shielded by the fact that you now travel in time.
yeah.
So there would be two versions. There'd be a Lucas that didn't travel in time because he never built a time machine. But now there is the Lucas that is the jumper.
Yeah.
Am I blowing you away a little bit here?
I know what you mean.
Am I blowing you away a little bit here?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go further?
I know what you mean, but I kind of don't
Yeah?
think that's what would happen.
How do you reckon it'll work?
If you go back in time. So when you go back in time, do you think that time still continues moving forward in your original timeline?
Okay. Relative to me, are you saying I'm the time traveler, or are you talking about yourself?
You're the time traveler.
Okay, so I'm the time traveler. So
Yeah.
time is meaningless to me. So it's not important.
So when you
So
say we're at the edge of time now, we're at the end of the line, and it's just new information is being created as we go.
Cool.
See it as a line, yeah.
Right.
If you go back in time, does that edge of time continue to move forward?
Relative to you?
Yeah.
This is the question.
Relative to you.
This is the question. Because
Relative to you. Yeah, it must for you to be able to change
it doesn't. Because now you do not operate on the same rules and limitations that everyone else outside that time machine does. So you, Lucas, jump back in time.
Yeah.
Let's say so you jump now.
To the 80s.
Unless you come back, whether it's at this point now or at some point in the future, you will no longer exist for me. If you jump back and fuck with the past, I will have no understanding of what's happened anyway, because you are adjusting time, and time is now meaningless for you. Time does not act on you the same way it does on me, because you are no longer bound by time.
Yeah.
Once you step into the time machine.
So if you go back and make sure you were never born, you'll still exist, is what you're saying.
The time traveling version of you, yes.
Yeah. But your parents will have no knowledge of you.
Right.
They won't know that
Why would
who
they?
you are.
Why would they? You never existed.
Yeah. But even if you go back in your timeline.
You want me to go further?
But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
though.
no, it does.
It doesn't make sense because you must be going in a different alternate timeline, because your parents, for example, already know you exist.
Right.
And they continue
at the moment
in their time, like.
But their time, if you went back and erased it, their time is meaningless because you've adjusted it.
Yeah, but you can't just snap out of knowing stuff.
You can't.
No, but like
they can't.
You'd have to create a different timeline.
No, you are creating a different timeline. You're not creating a different reality. What you're doing is you're changing the events that would.
But there's two timelines moving forward. Then
it's just one.
No, it can't be.
No, it is. It's just one, because you've done the damage. So let's say right now, right?
Yeah.
We exist. This is the easiest one to do. People turn around and they're like, we're going to go back and we're going to kill Hitler. That's going to fix things, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you jump back in time, you kill Hitler. When you land back here, I will have never heard of Hitler.
Yes, you would have.
No, I wouldn't have, because you've already killed him.
As a baby or something.
It makes no difference.
Yeah.
As long as you killed him before a point where World War II kicked off,
he
would just be another no-name politician in history that got assassinated.
Yeah.
I would not know any of the events that you know because you are the only person from that timeline
They went back and killed.
that went back and dealt with the situation. So then when you return, you'd be like, fuck, I killed Hitler. I'd be like, who?
Who's that?
You'd be like this guy from like
Yes.
Berlin, Germany.
As you're saying like that, I'll use your example.
Yeah.
So I go back.
Where are we at? How quickly did we get to this?
Half
30.
an hour.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you're saying we go back. I go back. All right? I
Mhm.
kill Hitler. You
Yeah.
know what's going on at the moment. Hitler.
I know that
killed
you're
the
about
Jews
to.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
I go back. The moment I murder him, as a baby, let's say, or
Doesn't
murder
even
his
matter.
mum, whatever.
Makes no difference.
Yeah.
You could Sarah Connor her.
You just
Not I would forget. I would be a different version of me because in the effect of you
Well, then
killing,
there's-
in the effect of you killing Hitler, you've probably stopped like the Hiroshima bombs from kicking off and Nagasaki.
yeah.
Mm.
You've stopped so many world events and changed things so heavily. You would return to a time that you wouldn't even recognize because you've changed such a massive point in our history.
Yeah.
But you would remember it, and I would have no understanding of anything that you're talking about. You might not even return to a time point where you exist
because of that decision.
your parents never left Greece
Yeah.
or never did. Do you understand?
Yes, but
You have become
Everything's
everything
outside
becomes
of
different,
time.
and it's not two separate timelines. It's only one. Our reality operates on one timeline.
yeah, but that means if time travel existed right now and someone had that
ability,
ability to
we
travel
would
back in
not
time,
understand what they've done.
how?
How
Because
could
we
we?
know at the moment
Right?
what's
Why do-
going on.
I'll explain
It'll
it.
be in history books,
Right.
And then if we just snap out of it and
No,
forget,
no.
or we don't understand,
So it's in history books.
yeah,
Okay, it's in history books. Why?
documentaries, everything.
Why? Why
The
is
history
it?
will be rewritten.
That's right.
Yeah,
The
but,
history
But we
becomes
would have
rewritten
no
because
understanding.
the history wouldn't be written.
but
then.
how would it be
Exactly.
erased?
Thank you.
It would
You're
not
getting
be.
it.
It would not be written.
No, I understand that, but we have physical forms at
That's
the
the
moment.
thing. It wouldn't be documented. Why would someone document it if it never happened?
Exactly.
Listen to this. Yeah, but listen to this. All right. I tell Stephen, I got a time travel machine
Mhm.
and I'm going to go back and kill Hitler.
Sweet.
Now, so you're
You've
telling
got
me
Hitler
now.
on your phone. You're reading on Wikipedia.
Great.
All right. I leave in front of you.
Yep.
It's not on Wikipedia anymore.
and,
Just wait,
and I
just
kill
wait,
him.
just wait.
What happens to you as you're looking at this Wikipedia page?
I would more than likely cease to this version of me,
Yeah.
if I did exist at all after that moment.
Because
Yeah.
he didn't go time traveling with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you're watching it as at the moment. I'm watching it. All right, Hitler
Can I ask you
on
something?
Wikipedia.
Actually, the
I'll make
best.
it. I'll make it. All right.
It
You
does-
go
it doesn't
first.
make sense.
You
All
go
right.
first.
The best thing is watch. Have you ever watched X-Men the animated series?
Yes.
Because their time travel is actually pretty decent the way they do it. So the guy goes back.
Who?
Bishop.
Say
Cable.
Cable
Yeah.
goes back, or Bishop goes back.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's maybe it's Bishop. Yeah.
Goes
Anyway,
back. Right.
anyway.
They change the past.
Mm.
The X-Men don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's literally when he comes back to the present.
Yeah.
It's like Apocalypse Who never happened yet.
You know
Yeah.
what you're thinking of? You're stuck on Dragon Ball timeline time travel.
Nah.
Yes,
I'm
you are.
stuck on
Because they remember everything.
different
Exactly.
timelines.
No,
That's-
no.
that's
there is
what I
no
believe.
different time. You're stuck on Dragon Ball timeline versions. There wouldn't be two separate timelines to be able to travel into. There is only one. Imagine one line. Imagine one line. The line is going straight.
Dragon Ball is like 2 lines.
Exactly. It's
Or
wrong.
3,
It's
4,
completely
5.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's got to
How?
be one line.
It's completely ridiculous. So it's one line.
I don't think it is.
No, it's
It is.
only one line. This is the reason why I'll explain it's only one line. So
Yeah.
every moment in our history, without thinking about time travel, just every moment in our history adds to that line and it keeps extending, yeah? Keeps going forward into
Yeah.
the future. The second you go back, all you do is instead of that timeline now continuing on that original straight line,
You've changed.
is
diverged.
you've just moved it by a degree.
Yeah.
You haven't split it. You haven't created two separate timelines or two separate
Yeah.
realities. All you've done is you've just made that timeline now shift a degree.
Yeah.
If you want to make it even better, it doesn't shift at all. It's just now the events that create that timeline are adjusted. So you're saying now, if you're
But
looking
you
at
can't erase time.
you can't. A time traveler is not erasing time; they're altering.
They can't.
So, for example, now you look at your phone. I'll use your example. You're looking at Wikipedia. You're looking at Hitler, right? You're looking at your phone. If I flick back to an hour ago when you
Mhm.
got to my house,
Mhm.
if I steal your phone and then I jump forward, how are you looking at your phone?
I think you'd be in a different reality.
No, I'd be in a different timeline,
Different
but the same reality.
timeline.
It's not adjusted. It's just, sorry, it's not separate. It's adjusted.
So if I'm holding my phone,
Right.
I'm holding my phone.
Yep.
I'll come to the house. You snatch my phone and disappear.
Because I've gone back
in time.
Right. Then when I return, you're going to be like,
Why did you take
where
my
the
phone?
fuck's my phone? Exactly.
And where is it?
It's with me. I've still got it.
Yeah.
Because I took it with me. The time on your phone would not have adjusted from the hour difference because I've hopped
You've taken it with you, though. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
But I am still aware that you took my phone.
Because of those events, because of such a short time frame.
That's a bad analogy. 1 second.
No. So all we're doing is we're just saying that history alters based on events that have happened in the past. So if you go back in time, you kill Hitler. It's not a matter of, I knew Hitler existed. Why doesn't he exist anymore? Hitler never did the things he did. So thus, I don't know them. The world doesn't know them. You know them because you don't exist in our time.
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say.
I completely understand what you're trying to say.
I don't think
You are saying that what happens is if you go back and you pop straight back here, that we'll all be like, what the hell? Where is Hitler?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, what are you saying?
I'm saying that think of it as a physical thing, time.
Right.
If I'm here sitting down and you go back and kill Hitler, and I'm reading up on Hitler on
Sweet.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
There is no
When
such
you
thing.
pop back, you won't pop back in this reality. You'd pop back in an alternate reality, and I'm still here reading about Hitler, and you've just disappeared.
Okay.
That's what I think would happen. And you'd cease to exist in my timeline. Like, you'd cease to exist because you just disappeared off the face of the planet.
Right.
We'd still have memories of you, but you would not appear back in this timeline.
Right. So you're
I think
saying,
you just keep
so
splitting.
what you're saying is that the time, like all that I'm doing is I'm essentially hopping between realities
Pretty much.
by adjusting. So you don't think that time is essentially stuck to this reality. You think that as you alter things, you're either creating new realities or you're popping to an alternate version of reality.
Yeah, you change it. I think
But now what you're doing,
sort of
so
like
yeah, but, so
each
no, no.
person has their own like timeline sort of a thing.
Yes, but the second you use the time machine, you no longer operate on those rules.
Yeah, but if you go back, I'm sitting here watching YouTube.
You cease to exist. The
No.
second yes,
I pop out of existence.
you wouldn't even have existed.
So how
This
would we do
version
that?
of you,
And what happens to me?
you've never existed because I've altered the fact that you probably didn't.
Yeah,
So if
but
I went back and
things
killed,
can't just like, disappear for no reason.
yeah, it's because you're thinking of it from this version of what we understand. I'm saying if you go back in time, if I go back in time, I kill you as a baby.
Yeah,
I'm going to come back here.
you
Chances are
won't come here. You won't be back here.
No, I won't be back in this place, and I probably won't recognize this version of my timeline.
Because everything
But
changes.
I will be back at this time.
This time on a different plane.
This time, same
changed
timeline,
events.
but it's been altered
Different events.
because I've killed you.
Yeah, so I think you create different levels.
Yeah, maybe. Look,
Yeah.
maybe you do.
That's
split
what
it.
makes sense to
But
in my
but
head.
here's the thing then. So then how do you get back to the original timeline?
I don't think you can.
Well, no, you would be able to because then you have to.
You can.
How?
You can get back to
How?
your timeline,
How?
but in a different reality.
No.
You
know
will
how
never
can-
come back
You
to
know how you can do it?
how?
And this is where we get to the next part.
How?
I've gone back and I've killed Hitler and I've wrecked my own timeline.
Well, I think you create a mirror image.
Okay.
Once you use a time traveling device,
Yeah.
you've essentially created a mirror image of your timeline. And then as you fuck with it, your version, your timeline adjusts, whereas the original
continues.
continues.
Okay. Let me
That's
ask
how
you-
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
You're operating straight out on Dragon Ball Z timeline travel.
You reckon?
Yes,
difference.
because Trunks goes back in time to
warn.
to stop the androids and Cell.
Yeah. To give
But
Goku
then once
the
he
heart
does,
thing and all
he
that
goes
sort of
back
shit.
and Bulma's like, "Oh, you're back? You look more jacked." And
Yeah.
he goes and fucks up the androids.
Yeah.
How?
Same thing I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Different timelines. Different mirrors. Different
no, because Trunks.
planes.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Trunks came back in time from the fixed point in time from Goku at like getting his disease, the androids, Cell, blah, blah, blah. That's the point he travels back in time from.
Yeah.
So once he goes back and he fixes things, how does he then go back to his future? He would not be able to because those events changed and thus we get a new version. He would travel back, but the future he got to, he would not recognize. Trunks was born in the past, so he went to the...
Doesn't work either way.
No, it does.
How?
My version does.
How?
My version's cleaner.
No, because if he saved
the
if
past.
he saved Thing,
If you
Gohan obliterated Cell, he shouldn't have an android issue.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
but
my
he does.
version. That's my version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not your version.
Your version, he still versus him again.
Exactly.
And finds Cell.
There we go. We found it.
Yeah, but that is an alternate version. That's like my
It's not
version.
an alternate version.
It's an alternate timeline.
No, it's not. That was the course of events.
That happened.
That's what would have happened. He went back and changed it. So then when he went back to the future, instead of being able to fight the androids, they would never have existed. So he's altered things.
Mhm.
Vegeta would still be alive. Goku would still be. He should have actually traveled forward in time at the end of that arc.
Yeah.
And we saw a new version of the future where Gohan still had his arm and, Pan or whatever existed, whatever. Okay, here's the thing.
I don't think that's real.
None of it's real. It's all theoretical.
Doesn't
But-
mean no. I know, yeah, but I don't think that's what happens because I think they operate because there's two time machines.
It doesn't matter if there's 50.
Because there's the one that he travels with, but there's the one that Cell finds
Yeah, but
and
it
goes
does-
back to the thing too.
But it's the same time machine.
It's the same time machine. So
Yeah.
how's it two?
It's the same one.
That's right.
Right. Because he never adjusted it. The
What?
whole point was Cell.
So how's it two then?
No, wasn't there a second one?
There is a second one.
Yeah, so there was.
No, it's just one.
It's the same
It's
one.
the
says
same
mum on it.
one.
It
No,
says
because it
mum
was
on
his
it.
mum's one.
No,
No, there's only one
he
time
made
machine.
one, went back.
Didn't
Cell
manage to
finds
change
it.
it, and Cell found it and then traveled back. And through Cell coming back to the past, they were able to fix the future. That's how
It's the same time machine though.
yes, but that's because when Trunks originally goes back in time, he would never have solved the problem because
What?
Cell needed to go back to absorb them to become Perfect Cell for Gohan to become Super Saiyan 2
Yeah.
to kill him. So
So
you
how's
can
it
imagine.
two?
So you can imagine if they kept it clean. Trunks travels back in time, fails. The
That
future
never happened.
Dude, of course it didn't happen because we're not shown it. But the fact that Trunks' time machine appears in the future that has still stayed the same means that
No,
Trunks.
he appears in the past.
Bro, what are you talking about? Where are you going? You're confusing yourself in time.
Didn't they find Trunks' fucking time machine?
Who?
Trunks.
Trunks found Trunks' time machine.
He found his own time machine
Right,
in Goku's timeline
right.
and said, "What
that's
the
where
fuck
Cell-
is
that's
this?"
where
And that's
Cell's-
where Cell is from
Right.
the future.
Okay. Because what happened was Trunks originally travels back in time. Okay. The events don't solve themselves.
Okay.
That time machine stays in place, moves forward in time, as it normally does.
Yeah.
Cell uses it, travels back in time. So the reason that Trunks' future is saved is actually because Cell travels back in time. When Trunks goes back to the future and kills Cell,
Doesn't he kill Trunks?
no. Oh, no, sorry. So
I
that's,
think he kills Trunks
yeah.
because he's
Look,
an
that-
egg in.
No.
You get so that's why I'm saying it's an alternate. It's an alternate timeline.
Yeah, so what's happened is
It's creating
so
mirror.
this is
mirror.
so this is what's happened.
Yeah.
Their timeline system is a mess. There's no cleanliness to it.
Yeah. That's
Okay, there's no cleanliness to it. In
Yeah.
my version, it's simple.
yeah.
Getting back to the original thing, the only way you could fix your timeline, theoretically.
Yeah.
So let's say you travel back, you killed Hitler, You go back, you don't like how things turn out because it turns out that I'm the overlord like Ned Flanders and you're like, fuck this, I'm going back, fix it.
Yeah.
How do you fix it? There's only one
You
way.
wouldn't be able to.
Yes, there is one way.
How?
You need to ensure Hitler survives
Okay.
your assassination attempt. So you need to go back and you need to stop yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing that, you would now, theoretically, by stopping yourself, have readjusted the timeline by a degree, and you're back on normal level.
You're back on track.
Right. But here's the best part.
Yeah.
Because you no longer exist in time, you are now a fourth dimensional being. Do you know what happens once you decide to fuck with your own events?
What?
The first time you time travel, you would be assassinated by the second version of you
Why?
because you no longer operate on a strict level of time.
But why would you kill yourself?
Because you tried to fix your timeline by stopping what you originally wrecked.
Yeah, but then it becomes a loop.
Not necessarily, because the second version of you does not operate on none of you. So the second you step into that time machine, you click send. Yeah.
Like you said, you become a god.
You
much.
have become a god. You
Yeah.
become a fourth dimensional being.
Yeah.
Time no longer operates for you like it does for the
No.
rest of us.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose how you alternate things.
Mm.
So you fire back, you kill Hitler, come back. You don't like the new world. So now this future version of you
Goes back
Has
again.
fires back,
To stop
kills the
yourself.
past version of you, and thus
But then,
you fix the timeline again. So all you've
but
done.
then wouldn't
That's like
you
a Rick
stop?
and Morty then.
No, but
That's a Rick and Morty
No, it's-
timeline.
just
isn't
wait,
it?
just wait.
wouldn't you stop existing?
No, because the second you stepped into the time machine, you're no longer bound by the series of events that take place.
Yeah, you killed your past self,
Yes.
but your future self is still alive.
Yeah, but then what if another one appears?
You've
you keep
now
going back,
so this is
Then
where
it's
my
a problem.
so this is where my next you saying for us to pause? No,
No,
don't
we're
make
good.
us.
We're good.
So no, keep going. Don't pause us because we're hitting the point
We're
here.
going
We're
deep.
starting. We're
We're deep.
going psychosis.
We're deep into it.
So you've now created a really big issue, and this is where I think your biggest problem arises from time travel. At least in my version of time travel.
Mm-hmm.
The second you step into that time machine, you need to make a deal essentially with yourself that you need to keep the promise, which is that you do not go back and alter things that you've already altered. Because the second you do that, you've created a string of events where now you've got alternate versions of you firing around time streams, both interfering and re-interfering, and you've just got a war of yourself.
Well, sometimes you can't help.
Completely
Dude, time
mess
travel is so
everything.
fucked up.
It's the best.
Because
It's the best.
There's laws against it too.
What laws?
Like
We
what's
don't
happened
know-
must still happen.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
time
this
is-
version. That's this. We only know that rule.
Yeah.
Because we do not understand
that's
next
the only
the next
yeah.
dimension.
Yeah.
The second you can now operate outside space and time,
Mhm.
the second time is no longer a burden or affecting you,
Mhm.
you can do whatever the fuck you want. And it is irrelevant to you.
But you're bound to change.
You are going to
Something.
change so much stuff.
Yeah.
If
like,
you head back.
if you head back, if forward, go for it. Do whatever you want.
This is where like time travel could be fun.
Yeah.
And if they do time travel, this needs to be the rule.
Yeah.
You never go back.
Yeah.
You can only jump forwards
That's a rule that will be broken
immediately.
Immediately.
But
Stop me.
But immediately, someone's breaking it straight away.
Yeah.
But the idea being that if you jump forwards, because that timeline is
Well,
from
that's the thing.
from
Are we
our-
on the edge of the timeline now?
No, the timeline is forever existing. So if you are a time traveler, if you jump forwards, you'll just see where this goes. Our one.
Yeah.
But if you jump back, you've seen what's happened. And anything you fuck with in the past will affect your jump point. But if you go forwards and then come back here, nothing's been changed because it makes no difference what you do in the future.
It's true.
Do you understand? So you're thinking of it on the idea that
Oh,
if you want to keep everything the same, you can never go backwards. You're only allowed to go forwards because you don't give a shit what happens in the future because it makes no difference.
It depends.
Go.
So, say in the future, say you found out there was going to be a war, World War III,
Right.
but
right,
you found what would trigger it,
right.
and you try and go and prevent it.
Yeah.
It's either people just lock you up and think you're insane.
Okay. But
you don't bring it up.
But you're thinking of, dude. First of all, I'll run your.
Because he's saying everything that will happen.
I'll run your thought experiment out. So let's say you jump, they catch you, you're fucked. Yeah. So all that happens for us is Lucas got caught in the future, stopping World War III. We have no clue. We just know that at the point where that would have happened, someone attempted to assassinate this person and got locked up. We're going to see a photo of Luke.
Yeah.
Am I still here?
No, you've jumped in time.
But then if I come back in time?
You can't.
You can't.
You've been killed in the future.
That doesn't make sense though.
Yes, it does.
If I jump forward in time,
yeah, you get killed.
How
there.
can I jump back in time?
You can't. You've been killed.
Wait. Listen to me, because this will debunk your theory.
All right, I'm good. I got you.
If I'm here sitting with you doing this podcast, all right?
Yeah, sweet.
I'm like, I got a time machine. I'm going forward.
Cool.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
If I jump forward in time to in 200 years, fuck around for a year.
Sweet.
If I come back, I should be here.
No.
Technically.
No.
Why?
Only if you jump back to a point before you first went forwards.
Correct.
Yeah, there'll be two of you.
Yeah.
So how's that work?
So you've just proved my point.
No, because how
am
I, if I go forward in time, shouldn't I disappear from here?
Yes, but only if you leave at this very second, and then you come back after, like 1 second later, there will only
1 second
be one
before.
of you. 1 second before, there'll be two of you.
Yeah.
One's about to jump. You're here.
Yeah. There'll be two of you.
There's two of you.
You got to become after.
So I'm making, okay.
Yeah.
You're not making doubles. You're, picture this. I'll say,
and then what if I stop myself from going into the portal?
Then what happens? There's two of you forever.
I don't disappear?
No, you wouldn't because you never jumped.
But I went back and stopped myself from going through the portal. So I shouldn't be able to stop myself from jumping through the portal because I never went forward. Get what I'm saying?
You never went forward, but the second you used the time machine and jumped, you no longer operate on the same bounds of time as we all do because you are now another version of yourself. You've created...
Out of the blue.
No,
that doesn't make sense.
No, it does. Dude.
How does that make sense,
okay.
Stephen?
Okay. All right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because if I stop myself from going through the portal,
from existence, is what you're saying.
Well, if I stop myself instantly at that moment, I push myself out of the way.
Yeah,
I should be out.
Right.
I should not exist
because you were never able to go forwards, then come back and then stop yourself.
Or like if I shoot forward,
right,
and then I come back at this time, and then you can't. You
no,
can't
but
change your own future.
You interfere.
I interfere.
Right. So that operates on the idea that time will attempt to fix itself, or on the idea that you coming back to stop yourself from time traveling has somehow stopped events from having happened. Right.
Well, I stopped myself from going through the machine.
Right. Do you know what you've actually just done?
What?
So from the moment you first jumped,
I found a glitch in the system.
No.
Duplicate.
No. You've duplicated. You've done the masterful duplication. The second you jumped the first time, you no longer are part of this timeline anymore. You can't imagine that you are.
But you're saying that we only have one timeline. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying the timeline will adjust itself if you go back and fuck with the past. But
will there be two timelines?
No. It'll just be one. It'll just be one.
With a different trajectory.
With a different trajectory. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because you are now a fourth dimensional being, it makes no difference whether you stop yourself from initially using the time machine or not.
Yeah.
Because you have already used it. In your version.
In my version.
In this, not the Lucas that would exist that was about to jump.
Yeah.
The one that had already jumped and jumped back is now another version of you. So you haven't created an alternate reality. You haven't created an alternate time. You've created an alternate timeline of events, but it's irrelevant because you jumped to the future. If you jump back Yeah, wait, sorry. Before I go into how much more psychotic this could go,
Yeah, this is going.
are you good with that? Like, do you follow that train of thought?
Say it one more time.
So this version of you jumps. You jump forward, you fuck around, you jump back.
Yeah.
You stop yourself from having used the time machine.
Yeah.
That version of you is never a time traveler.
But
Cool?
I am.
But the version of you that jumped is. And because you are now not operating on the same level as the rest of us. You still have the knowledge of what you've done. You are still capable of using the time machine. You do not fade from existence because in the original jump point you are from, you did jump. So because you did jump and you changed it, it doesn't mean that you fade from existence. You still continue because you are no longer bound by the rules of time. You are now a time traveler. You are now a fourth dimensional being. Time is irrelevant to you. And I would go so far as to say the best thing you could do is go back in time and stop yourself from using the time machine, if not destroy it. So there's only.
But wouldn't there still be a loop?
No. There's no loop. You've created that point. So, like, let's say now you've come back, you've stopped yourself from jumping.
But that's
You now.
okay.
Okay.
This is why I'll tell you, shouldn't there be a loop? Because say I stop myself from jumping.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go through the time machine.
Me, Stephen.
Steven goes through the time machine.
Cool.
Fucks around. Comes back to that point.
And stops myself.
And then.
Come on, you got it. Where is it?
Dude.
So I go forward, come back. What happens?
Well, there'll be two of me here then. And two of you.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
It does. Because we jumped. And then we jumped back to a time before we jumped. And we stopped ourselves. So now we both have the ability to travel through time.
That's weird.
That's
That's
time.
that's
time
the
travel.
It's time travel. Time travel gets really messy, but sort of clean at the same time. You want me to blow your mind even more?
Tell me.
Cool. You've stopped yourself now from using the time machine.
Yeah.
So the version of you that can manipulate time still ages, still moves forward. As normal, but here's the best part. Once you've used the time machine once, you're going to stop using it?
No.
Probably not.
Obviously not.
Why would you?
Yeah.
So now you've stopped yourself from using the time machine. You've destroyed that. Okay?
I've destroyed the time machine.
The initial version, not you. You've still got your time machine, but you've destroyed the one your past self would have used.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
That Lucas will move forward in time and enact what he would have enacted on the world.
As normal.
As normal.
Yeah.
But you...
So I just see it as an outside person, in other words.
You are now a god.
You can go wherever you want.
Yes, just wait. Follow
wouldn't
me.
it still change my
your initial jump point? The second you step into that time machine, you no longer operate on the rules of time. So don't.
No, but the Lucas that's gone through the time machine, he's got memories of the future.
Yeah, he's got memories of everything he's done.
Wouldn't
you absorb those memories?
Well, wouldn't the Lucas that's not part of the outside the time thing?
Yep.
Wouldn't he affect what I understand now?
No.
But I was him in the future.
Two different beings.
No, you weren't. It's two separate versions of you. So Lucas A time traveled.
So you
Lucas
essentially
B,
you duplicate yourself once you go through the time machine.
No, only if you go
have
back
to.
and stop yourself from using the time machine. And I'll kick you one better.
Yeah.
I'll kick you one better. The version of you continues to jump through time, let's say for 30 years. Not jumped 30 years in time. For 30 years of your
time.
version of aging, you continue using that time machine.
Yeah.
Chances are...
Wait, is it a time machine if you still age there?
You would still age because you're a biological being. So you technically wouldn't be experiencing birthdays.
Yeah.
But you would still get older because
your
your body will age.
Yeah. Because at the moment, the science behind it is you can only move forward.
Right, because you
slow yourself.
The faster you travel
The slower you
we
age.
covered this in episode 3.
Yeah.
So like the faster you travel,
Yeah.
the slower time moves for you. But you still are aging.
Very slowly.
No, you're still aging. Everything around you is speeding up.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
You slow down.
No.
No.
You don't slow down. You continue for you as
Oh,
normal.
for the outside people, you slow down.
Sure. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Because like if you fall into a black hole, apparently you're fucking.
You're just ripped apart at the seams, bro.
Say you can
split,
survive.
You're not. You're split molecularly, like to the atom. You're split apart.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that.
But like, if people see you move slowly on the outside of it. At the outside, if you could,
they wouldn't even
witness
see
it.
you. They wouldn't even see you because you're traveling so fast.
You're going so slow.
No.
Speed of light.
If we
No, it'd be like the movie you were saying, the fucking Interstellar.
no, dude.
Don't worry about it.
Stop.
For him, it's 30 years, but on the outside, it's fucking.
That's because of
thousands of years,
that's
whatever
because of
it is.
how gravity was operating. We're not talking about gravity. We're talking about speed at this point.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that version of time travel.
All right, yeah.
Okay, Lucas A travels. He comes back. He stops Lucas B from traveling.
Yeah.
Lucas A continues to travel through time for 30 years.
Yeah.
Chances are that once you hit that 30-year mark,
Mm-hmm.
you will also probably encounter other versions of yourself if you happen to travel back to points in time that your previous self has jumped to. So Lucas A jumps to 1985. 10 years later, you realize that something in 1985 you want to go back for. Let's say you met someone, you want to go back and bang her one more time. So Lucas A jumps back again, 10 years older. He would now come across a previous version of himself.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you what I think would happen the second you use time travel? If you were to continue using it,
What?
you would constantly run into your future version of yourself because the future version of you is limitless.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna just do a quick pause. We're gonna have a break and then we'll get back to this. Okay. So you travel back, you keep running into versions of yourself. Okay. It could also be that what happens is the second you use the time machine once, if you always intended to use the time machine consistently, the second you pop out, you've hit a point where you've constantly fucked with the time so much that it is completely unrecognizable. So let's say the Lucas A, the time traveler.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucas A time travels. And over the course of 30 years, he does continue to jump. That was your intention. You're going to jump forever. Who's to say that at year 10, you go, you know what? I've seen so much. I could do it so much better. So you set yourself up to jump back at a point that you just fucking completely change the timeline so heavily.
Yeah.
That Lucas A, 1 year in, jumps and he hits a timeline that he is like, you jump back to originally kill Hitler. You get there, Hitler's already been murdered by another version of you who has taken over Germany and has now won World War II because a future version of you that was jumping has decided to already do it.
So
And
I've got no control of myself then.
Well, that's the thing. Isn't
Well,
it?
then who am I? Which one am
Who
I?
am I? You are the version of you that initially jumps, but because you would have continued to use the time machine.
They've got a mind of their own.
Well, it's not a mind of their own. They're future versions of you that have continued using it. So because Lucas A, the 10-year variant, so let's call them variants now.
Yeah.
So
It
instead
has
of
to
calling
be.
it Lucas A, I'm gonna say like the first variant
Yeah.
is the one that initially
original.
jumps back.
Yeah.
Because a future variant of you
Yeah.
would have already gone back to sort things out in an attempt to take over the world. The second you land back in your initial attempt to kill Hitler, you've already done everything. You might even come across yourself.
So then that one will get wiped.
Nothing gets wiped.
It doesn't
Remember, the
get
second you step into the time machine, you can't get wiped.
not wiped essentially, but straight away it will get diverted.
The second you stepped into the time machine, you no longer are part of time. You're now an extra. You're a fourth dimensional being. The second you step in, the second you press jump, right?
Yeah.
Now a future version of you has decided that you're just going to do it better, you go back, you take over everything. You might even jump the first time and hit a future version of yourself waiting for you, being like, it's already done. Like, I already did everything.
But why would I jump back? Why would I go there in the first place?
The future version of you
Yeah, like
to take over the world.
I've already done it.
No,
I've already killed Hitler.
No, you were going back. So the second you press jump, so I want you to imagine that the second you press jump in the time machine, right? You are removed from space and time. Just bang.
Yeah,
immediately.
bang, done.
Right?
Yeah.
The second you land in this new or in the timeline in an attempt to kill Hitler, let's just keep it smooth.
Yeah. Unalive.
Right.
As I said.
Unalive. Outside suicide. So as you jump back, the future version of you that continued to use the time machine and had learned so much, done so much, he's decided that he's not just going to kill Hitler. He's going to go back. He's going to fucking take over everything.
Yeah, but then I'm saying, why would I revisit that timeline to kill Hitler again? If I'm aware that I've already done it.
You're not aware you've already done it because you being the person that initially pressed the jump, it's a future version of you.
What?
Yes.
No.
So, yes. So follow me on this, right? You age in the time machine the same way you would have, or like you age. 10 years have passed of the time traveler.
Yeah.
But because you now are no longer bound by time, the second you press that button, you've just opened up like a fucking world of possibilities. You've opened up the ability for future versions of you to operate in timelines. So you, for example, you jump back to dinosaur age.
Okay.
You might even come across 2-year jump version of Lucas that has already jumped back initially. And now he's come back to meet you and be like, listen.
He wouldn't exist unless I've gone back to create another one.
No. You
only create another Lucas if you've gone back to that point where I've gone through the time travel machine.
No. You only do no. You're not following my train of thought. So Lucas A presses the button. The second that jump happens, you are now on your essentially like if you imagine time as
that's the original one.
Line, if you imagine on the straight line, the second you press the jump button, you now opened up your own version of time.
Yeah.
Because now you're no longer on the line.
Yeah.
Your version keeps aging.
Okay.
If you continue to use the time machine, the future version of you that has access to the time machine has learned all the things that you wanted to learn. It's not you. It is you, but it's a future version of you.
The original one.
Of the one that jumped.
Wouldn't that be me?
It is you, but it's a future version of you. It's one that has been jumping for 10 years.
That's me.
Dude, look, yes, it's a future version.
How is it a future version of me and not the current version of me?
Because
it'd be me doing it, wouldn't it?
No, it's a future version of you. Follow.
So I go through the time machine into the future. Or wherever. And what happens?
And you fuck around with something in the future.
Okay.
Then you jump again. You jump to the past. You fuck around with something in the past.
That's still me. Like, that's currently me.
Yes.
Okay,
you're following your own.
Yeah, so there's no other Lucases at the moment.
Just listen.
There's only the original Lucas and me.
Don't worry about original Lucas.
So who is it?
Lucas A.
So there's only one.
So this is we'll call him Lucas Prime.
Okay.
Lucas Prime presses the button.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Lucas Prime now travels through time to different points, either in history or in the future.
Yeah. So there's only
over the course of 10 years.
Yeah.
All these jumps. You jumped over the course of 10 years.
Yeah.
You jumped 10 times. Once a year for your biological aging.
Prime.
By year 10, you've decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take over the world.
Okay.
You jump back to 1940s Berlin, kill Hitler. You've already learned German. You decide to take over. You know all the speeches by heart.
Yeah.
You write Mein Kampf. You do all the good stuff. Not all the good stuff, but like you do all the stuff that was necessary to take over Germany. But now you also know not to head to Russia in winter. You do all the shit that was necessary to win.
Yeah, this is Prime's.
Yes.
Yeah.
The original person that pressed the button would theoretically, the second they hit that button, hit that timeline where 10-year prime.
So he's going through all my
all
steps.
the things that would have happened, 10-year prime has already done them. Because time has already, like that.
He shouldn't be there.
How should he have not been there?
Because I disappear from your universe.
It's not my universe anymore.
I haven't gone back to that point in time to create two of me. So
you don't need to.
Effectively, I've disappeared into the portal and you never see me again.
Don't worry about me.
Well, in general, like I haven't gone back to see myself jump in again. So there shouldn't be two versions of me. Should be just one,
There's
Prime.
the future version of Prime.
But I haven't gone back. You get what I'm saying? I haven't gone back for another one to go through.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to because the version of Prime that originally clicks the button, that version continues to jump.
That's me. I'm Prime.
Yes,
I'm
you're
going
Prime.
through.
You are Prime. You are going over the course of 10 years. You're doing all these jumps. Once you've hit 10 years, you, Prime, have decided to take over the world.
So I'll go to Hitler's age.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's right. There's no other one following me through the portal again.
No, it doesn't need to because the other versions of you that are jumping, because
there are other versions of me jumping.
Yes, there are, because every time you click that button, you're jumping to different points in time, which means that another version of you is also experiencing jumps.
That's not how it works, dude. Even in your timeline, that's not how it works.
So follow me, because you're a fourth dimensional being now. So you Lucas Prime, jump from 2025 to 2000.
No, because you're working as time repeating itself in that section constantly, where it's not.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
because then there wouldn't be another version of me pressing the button unless I go back to that point.
Okay, but the version of you that pressed the button, the Prime,
I'm jumping.
Yes,
I'm out of that. You know, you yourself would know that I went through there, and I've gone.
Yeah,
there would not be another time where I'd do that again,
right?
Unless Prime goes back in time,
right,
to that point.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Prime jumps.
Yeah.
So Lucas Prime jumps.
Yeah.
He now experiences all the things over the course of 10 years for Prime's existence, including all the jumps. So Lucas Prime jumps for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay? To different points in history or future, whatever. He does all these things.
Yeah.
Okay? But the second you press that button, you became a different being. You're no longer bound by three-dimensional laws. You're no longer bound by time. You've got your own thing now where there is a Lucas Prime that hit that button. And if you continue living for that 10 years and continue using the time machine, every instance of
it'll catch up to you.
Thank you.
So each time you go in history, back in time.
Or forward, it makes no difference.
Technically, forward is not as bad. Each time you go back,
you are continuously
creating.
You're every time you pop back into time.
Yeah.
That
eventually after 80 years, whatever
it's
been.
Difference. Makes no difference.
I'll do that again.
Yes, because the Prime now will always have pressed the button.
Okay, to go back.
Right.
You get you now. I get you. Yeah,
right. So there is versions of you. The second you press the button.
But it'll take like 80 years.
No, it doesn't matter how long it takes because time is irrelevant for you. So like every time you press the button, you are popping in and out of different points in time. But one version of you has decided to fully cause issues.
I get you now. Now I understand.
So what I'm saying is technically from the first jump, you would not just be able to go back to kill Hitler. You would theoretically jump back to the timeline where future version of yourself has already taken over.
Yeah.
He might even meet you and turn around and be like, listen, this is all meant to happen. These are the list of things that you need to do to get to me.
Yeah.
And do this.
But why would he say that? Wouldn't I just be fucking with his time?
No, because then, like, if you want this, because there's only one of two choices.
Well, there's only one timeline, so I'd be fucking.
Don't worry about the one timeline now. We're on a different thing because now you're on a completely alternate trajectory because you don't operate on time. You are a time traveler. You are a fourth dimensional being where nothing that happens in the timeline affects you.
Yeah, but instantly in that timeline, there's thousands of me doing shit
Right. At different points.
at different points in time.
Right. To make sure that this version of you comes to pass. So he enables you, or this is where it can get really psychotic.
This is messy.
If we haven't already become psychotic,
This
is
is-
where it gets full psychotic.
Yeah.
You now have the choice on that first initial jump where he presents to you, this is the list of things that you need to experience to become me
Mm-hmm.
and ensure this happens.
Yeah.
Or you can now go to war with
Mhm.
a future version of yourself that is also a time traveler and has the same capabilities that you do.
Yeah. So pretty much
Did
once
I just go fucking too psychotic? Like,
Once-
did it fucking
once
get
you go
really
through-
messy?
yeah, it's so messy. It's
Time
messy, but makes sense.
It's time travel.
It's time travel.
It's time travel. It's
But
theories.
like, so once you go through, pretty much you're fucked.
yeah. This is
It's
why
just
like,
it's going to be a mess.
this is where we get to like the main thing with time travel.
Yeah.
It's gonna always go badly.
Unless if you go back, if you go forward,
Even if
it's
you go
either-
forward, like things will, because the second you go forwards, you might turn around and be like, oh fuck, the lotto numbers from Thursday next week. Oh, I'll just pop back quickly, buy a ticket, collect my winnings, fire back into a different point. You can just go mental.
Yeah.
You just go mental with what you're capable of because it makes no difference. It's not
Yeah.
like you affect anything. What do you care if time erases or
It's
readjusts?
irrelevant
It
to you,
makes
yeah.
no difference to
Yeah.
you.
You just pop out.
Yeah. But the future version of you, well, it might make a big deal for him because, well, if you go around, you start fucking up all the shit that he's put in place already
Yeah.
to ensure this happens.
Yeah.
Well, now you're his enemy. So you better fucking follow. You better follow.
But it's, yeah. That's fucked.
Yeah, because
That's
it
a
might fuck
mess.
up something for him later on.
That's it. Like,
Your kids will never be born
Yeah.
if you did something life altering.
yeah, like
In
if
the
you
past.
went back,
I never met Madeline or something.
yeah, like if you went back further than 10-year prime
Yeah.
and killed that wife
Yeah.
that he was going to marry to have the kids, well, that fucks his timeline up.
Now it's
Yeah.
up to you.
So like now it's like you better go do this stuff to ensure that what happens.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're
that's-
good?
That's fucked.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's insane.
It's so good.
It's wild.
It's so good. Like, look, this version of time travel is both messy and clean at the same time.
It makes sense. It does make sense, but it just sounds like
It's so far
you've
out there.
doomed the world.
Well, you have.
Once you like go through that time machine.
A time machine, if used by anyone, and I don't care how fucking amazing of a person you are,
Yeah.
is always going to go negative.
Yeah.
It's always going to go bad.
It's about yeah.
You're a god.
Yeah.
You are a god. What is it to step? When we're talking about stepping on like bugs, dude, what are
I forget
people
about
to
it.
you now? It makes no difference.
Yeah.
Like they never have existed.
Yeah. They're nothing.
So good.
Dude.
It's so good.
Yeah. That's why I think the split timelines are more
Preferable.
plausible in a way. Like more
Well,
I think that's how
you're always going to go bad if you use a time machine. That's the thing. It doesn't
not
matter.
in that way.
Always.
Because you can jump out.
Yeah, but you jump to where? Your other versions will be fucking with time anyway. As long as you are always going to keep using the time machine, you will always have used the time machine in your version. And it's never going to be
Yeah.
fixed.
That's true.
It can never be fixed. So you will always turn bad. There's no
way around it.
There's no way around it. How is it? Once you've experienced both the future, all the technology, you could go 100 years in the future, pick up the sickest weapons, the sickest blueprints, fire back like 150 years ago.
And be a god. You're already a god.
You're
in a way.
already a god.
Yeah,
You just now have an empire.
Yeah.
Mm.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Or find where all the gold was and gold mine it and then.
Well, you don't need to gold mine it. That's the best part.
Just
You can
invest
just
in
pop
whatever.
into where they keep it, take it, and fire back out. Like
Yeah.
there is no limitation on your capacity to do things because nothing stops you.
Mm.
What they keep the gold in a vault, just appear into the vault, take what you need, fire back out. It's gold.
You
Gold.
wouldn't be able
Gold.
to do that though.
Why? What? It's going to show up.
I don't think you can time travel to a certain Place,
Dude, we're talking about time travel where you can pick space and time. We're talking like,
space, and
We're
time
talking-
and location.
yeah, we're talking like
Like
full
actual
blast.
location.
Yeah, full blast.
You can't.
We're not talking like Back to the Future where it's the same road. We're talking like you have full control over both where you appear and when you appear.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
You can cut it.
No, you don't need to cut it. Keep going.
No, you can
No cutsies.
No cutsies.
what can you carry with you as you time travel?
Okay.
How do you determine it?
All right.
Because if I want to take a lot of gold, wouldn't that affect my time travel?
Okay, so we have two different kinds of time travel that we can talk about now. We can either do like a self one where it's like a wristwatch, like Ben 10,
Mhm.
or we can have like an actual
Machine.
like a ship or a machine. So if you have,
So you will dematerialize things and rematerialize.
yeah, in a way it would do that. So if you had a physical one, you couldn't bring things with you, I guess, aside from what you're either wearing or holding or blah, blah, blah. But if you had a ship that you step into or
It goes through like a portal.
or yeah, like it moves itself where it needs to go. So in that case, you could take gold. But if you didn't, dude, gold is
Only is a
only
ticket.
useful. Gold is only useful. Like let's say you've only got the wristwatch one where it only takes you.
Mm.
Gold is only really useful if you intend to buy things. You don't need to buy anything. You already have the best speeches in history. You know exactly who did what.
You know
So
everything.
you can just go back and just be that guy. If you want gold, just go to the person that you know would mine the gold. So sign up, take over the gold mine, and you now have gold. If you want, like,
Yeah, I get you.
it doesn't make a difference. You don't actually need anything once you have the capacity to travel time
Mm.
because anything you need, you can just get. You
But what
want
you're
to add?
saying- But what you're saying is you're leaving people behind as soon as you press the button.
You have to.
They have
You-
to continue living. They continue living.
No, they don't necessarily continue living, but they may, depending on what you go either
Depending on
forward or
what you
back to
change.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on what you change or alter. This is what you have to think, okay? And if you ever do get a time machine, so this is my brother-in-law, by the way, and my wife. So we've got a live audience today. So look, if you have a time machine or you have the capacity to do the first jump, you're the only person. You have to have built it. You can't allow anyone else to do this. So if you do it, you jump. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. What was your question? Say it again.
You leave someone behind.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. So the second you press that button, you need to be fully aware. You need to take it on yourself that nothing is important except for you anymore. You have to be completely selfish because everything else is irrelevant. Everyone you know, everyone you've loved, all the events in history, everything that could happen, none of those things are important to you anymore because they do not matter to you. You can always go back and attempt to adjust things the way you want, but you have to be willing to understand that everything is irrelevant.
Essentially,
you-
like life is your playground.
That's it.
That's all it is.
In the case where you have like different
Any time travel.
Any sort of time travel. It doesn't matter whether it's a ship or it's
Yeah.
you.
If it's a ship and you can take weapons or gold, why can't you take it somewhere?
Well, this is a big problem because let's say I have a time machine and I'm going to bring Lucas. Who's to say that Lucas goes, you know what? This time machine's feeling a bit tight. I need to free up some space. I'm going to fucking kill Steven. I'm going to be the only time traveler.
Yeah, that's it.
So I can only be one. Like Highlander, there can only be one immortal. There can only be one user of the time machine because if there is, from
Essentially, you are.
everyone else's perspective, you are. But who's to say that at some point in time humans don't figure out a way to make sure they do live forever?
Yeah. Whatever it costs.
So you just fire
Sweet.
forwards.
And then
Get that.
Any version stops pressing the button is technically more.
Thank you. There we go.
It's almost constant.
Give me a time machine.
Nah. Nah.
But it can never not go bad.
Yeah.
It's been shown throughout history, like a large amount of power will always turn people to some sort of selfish need
Yeah.
or selfish goal.
Mhm.
You are literally given the ultimate power now where everything can be yours at any point. You just need to prepare it.
Yeah.
So you will have to turn it from what our version of evil would be, because for you it makes no difference.
That's insane.
It's so insane.
It's
dude.
fucking
Time travel is
it's
so
wild.
good. Time travel is so good. I
it's a
feel
good
like
concept.
they don't hit time travel as well as they could. Like there could be such a fucking sick time travel movie or story where someone clicks that button and they literally do the events where it's like they go back with a goal
Yeah.
and they hit the future version of them that's jumped. It's like, listen, we're all good for everyone to keep jumping around, but I'm the prime.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's figured everything out. You're going to fall in line or I'm just going to wipe you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't wipe me. It's irrelevant. It'd be a sick movie.
How does Thing do it? Marvel.
Which one? What, the Endgame?
Yeah, just in like
Dude, the Endgame time travel is so messy.
is it?
Oh.
Or what about that thing that Deadpool uses to go back in time? What's that thing? Is that part of the
That's
Endgame?
part of it's part. No. Oh no, wait, does it?
Isn't that
No, he
fucking-
gets Cable's time travel device.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's not part of the
That's
Endgame story.
Different.
That's your theory.
Not
Where you
really.
can go back
not
and see
really,
yourself.
because
A little
his,
bit-
His version
It's
is a
cleaner.
joke. It's
It's-
a joke.
It is-
version.
It's a joke, yeah. For like,
No, but like it's a joke version where like he can just go and just fuck shit up and it makes no difference
doesn't matter. Yeah,
because he goes
yeah.
back to his own timeline at the end.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes,
Everything's all good, like
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Yeah.
He goes back,
Yeah.
kills other Deadpool. He goes back and fucking does all this shit, and then he
Yeah.
just reappears where he wants to be. So
Yeah.
it's a completely different version of what
It's
what
more of a
my
joke thing,
version
yeah.
of time travel is.
Yeah.
Like there's a really good movie called The Time Traveler's Wife.
Mhm.
So it's with Eric Bana and the chick from Notebook.
Okay.
And in the movie, we see time pass from her perspective.
Mhm.
So he's popping in and out of time at different points. Like he ends up going back at one point and he meets her as a little girl. Then he jumps, but he has no control over when he jumps. It's like he cells or something. I can't remember how they explain it, but he just randomly jumps forward and backward in time.
Mhm.
So he jumps, he meets her as a little girl. He jumps forward at another point and she's got like clothes prepared for him. She's like, you gotta put the clothes on. Because when he jumps, he's naked.
Like Terminator.
Like Terminator.
Okay.
But it's random.
Yeah.
So she's like, you gotta put clothes on, we've got dinner. So he actually has a full life with her
As is traveling through
as
time.
he's traveling through time.
But
and
she's aware of it.
Well, she knows that he jumps. And a future version of him jumps back at one point and writes down for her where he will be and at what points in time so that she's aware of when she gets to spend time with him. Because there's
Yeah.
like 10 years where he doesn't appear and
Yeah.
then he'll appear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's actually a really good
Sounds
movie.
mad, yeah.
It's actually a really good movie.
I think there's a TV show that's similar, but it's on Apple.
Which one?
I can't remember what it's called.
What are we at?
130.
130? All right. Yeah, anything you kind of want to add or any direction you kind of want to take this? Or,
I understand your version. It's a bit trippy. Like
It's cleaner.
for me,
It
my
would have
version
to be.
makes sense in my head.
of course.
But I think my version's simpler than yours. Because it's just an alternate thing, and then you just live your life in that
Yeah.
alternate reality sort of a
It's
thing.
just a sidestep. You're essentially the Homer
it's a side-
Simpson.
Yeah.
You've got the Homer Simpson version where he just keeps fucking the time stream and eventually you just decide to live in it.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, this is it.
Yeah. It's the easy version, I think. Yours is more complicated. Because there's some stuff where you have to really think about how it would work.
Well, it's kind of hard to even express it or like explain it
Yeah.
because
It's all on theory now.
it's
at
all
the moment.
theory.
Yeah, it's all
but
theory.
then at the same time, we have no way of being able to actually figure out what it would theoretically be like. But time travel is probably the best device that you can do so many sick stories.
Oh, yeah.
So many sick stories, but they always go like the same route. It's like, I've got to jump back in time to fucking fix something. It's like, dude, you're a god.
Let them go wild.
You're a god.
Go wild.
Go mental.
Yeah.
Especially if you have control over the jumps.
Yeah.
Oh, go crazy.
Yeah. So who do you think's done it best in movies?
I can't even think. I've rambled so long. I can't even fucking think. I don't know.
I would say TV series have done the
Which
best.
one?
I would say, I don't know actually. Oh, I always go back to the X-Men animated series,
Dude.
the original one. But
Rick and Morty does
Rick and
very clean time travel.
It is
that's
clean.
true. Yeah,
Rick and Morty does clean time travel because it sort of operates on the idea that everything that has happened will happen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because time doesn't necessarily fix any problems. It's just always going to have happened. So like remember when the snake time travel episode where they do it the most and Rick's like, they haven't invented time travel yet in our time. So I need to commit to make sure that, and then like 3 seconds later, the version of him that has invented time travel appears.
Yeah. To that point.
Right. He doesn't need to, and to make sure that happens, the future version of him has to go and build it and then do the jump, and it just cycles.
Yeah.
So he cleans up time travel very nicely for himself because it's just a circle for him.
Yeah.
He has to do the events.
Yeah. Is the original Rick.
To catch up.
Yeah.
To make everything clean, he needs to perform everything.
Yeah.
In like this idea, it makes no difference once you press the button.
Yeah.
It's over. Like you are now no longer, unless you plan on actually returning to your own timeline, you kind of can't go backwards.
Yeah.
You can only go forwards
Yeah. Makes sense.
because then you never fuck anything up for yourself.
It's the safest bet. If you go back, you're bound to fuck something up.
Always.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
You'd be caught on camera at a crime scene, and then they investigate it.
Bro,
and
what
just
are
fucks
you
with-
using time travel for? You just pop it back.
Could be
murdering
anything.
Cunts.
Could be anything.
We're like, I always wanted to see what it felt like.
Yeah.
Depends if they see that time machine.
Turns
They'll
out
be
Ted
like,
Bundy
wait,
wasn't actually the serial killer. It was Lucas Prime. He's jumped back. He's just murdered all these kills. So what? It was going to happen anyway. I'm just fixing it.
that's the thing. If they
That
see
would
a
actually
time
be
machine,
a fucking sick. I think that's the story of. Is that the story of Time Cop? No, it's not. I was gonna say it won't be a sick version. Would be that like some fucking psycho has gotten a hold of time travel and someone else gets sent back to attempt to stop them.
there was a movie like
Through
that.
I think is it Time Cop?
I think so.
I fucking can't remember. I haven't seen Time Cop so long.
I don't know.
That sounds like Terminator, dude.
It's essentially Terminator.
That's just exactly
They're
what
not
it sounds
sent
like.
back to kill Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
They're just going back and being fucking wild.
Okay.
So like this dude's piecing together like, oh, they jumped to 1966. There's a photo of them in the background here. He goes there, tries to figure out what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And then figures out that he's gone somewhere else. And he's essentially chasing him through time.
Oh,
yeah. Time Cop.
It is Time Cop, yeah?
Mm.
Well, they've already done it.
Bend down.
That explains why I think it's such a good
What's
idea.
that other one? I think you've told me to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. Fucking that bathtub one.
Oh, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Is that good?
It's great.
That's a
Yeah?
comedy.
It's a great movie.
Take on it as well?
So they actually change history in that.
Oh, yeah.
So for anyone that hasn't watched it, unfortunate because I'm about to wreck it. So they get into a hot tub time machine and
Yeah.
they jump back to when they were like 18 years old.
Yeah.
But they look like they did back then. So they're essentially jumping back into their own bodies
Okay.
back then.
Yeah.
And they alter history to improve their own lives and then jump forwards to just continue living them. But they do hit a different timeline when they jump.
Back.
Like forwards, like back to the original time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually really good. Like
Yeah.
the guy that jumps back is a bit of a dickhead in the normal version.
Yeah.
He's like a full loser.
Yeah.
He's trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
And then he jumps back, and because he knows everything that's going to happen, as you do,
Yeah.
at least
Obviously,
most of the most important things,
Mhm.
he jumps back. He decides to stay
in the past.
in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So he lives his life out, and he creates like he's the lead singer of like Motley Crue. He creates Google, but he calls it Lugal.
Oh, it just goes
Like,
wild.
He just goes
off.
wild, like
Yeah.
full fucking creates this alternate history.
Yeah.
But it's actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
Really
I gotta
good
watch
movie.
it.
You should
Just-
watch it. It's fucking What's that one?
Bill and Ted's.
Oh, dude, Bill and Ted's. Which one? Like the second one?
Oh, the first
Oh,
one.
this is
and
the
second-
first one. Yeah, the first
the
one
first
they
one.
time travel
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
The second one they don't really jump that much.
No.
Their time travel's a bit all over the place as well. It's like a phone box, isn't it?
The phone books, yeah.
Good movies.
Yeah.
All right. I think
That was
I
good.
think that's got us.
It's good.
That was good.
I think it's got us.
All right.
Thank you very much for listening.
Episode 6.
Episode 6.
All right.
Done.